friends, welcome to my kitchen today. I am going to share with you a video that has been requested on my Azure Standard video unboxing a few weeks ago. I shared about our brown rice and that our raw milk source, I like to use the whey to soak my brown rice. But this has been a few years since I've done this and I'm super excited to get back into it because this soaking method will make your brown rice have more of the texture of white rice, which who doesn't want that, right? Plus, you will actually be able to absorb the nutrients in the brown rice because brown rice has on it, where's my brown rice here? We buy our brown rice in bulk, so I like to store it in mason jars in what we're going to be using in the close to near future. So brown rice has the germ on the outside that's actually acts as the anti-nutrient in it. So though brown rice has a ton of nutrition that white rice has been kind of stripped of, it's really hard to absorb the nutrition in the brown rice unless you prepare it properly. And soaking or sprouting your grains is some of the best way to do that. And so this recipe is actually an adaptation from the Nourishing Traditions. If you don't have this cookbook, friends, get your hands on the Nourishing Traditions cookbook. The recipes in here are fantastic, but the knowledge that's in here and the information is unmatched in any cookbook that I've found before. So this is the cookbook that challenges politically correct nutrition and the diet dictocrats. It's one of my favorites. You're going based on the foods our ancestors ate in the way that God created them. So one of my favorites, you can tell it's pretty worn here. And I've actually read through this entire thing. But the brown rice, this is the basic brown rice 2. It's the adaptation of this recipe from Fallon on page 467 of Nourishing Traditions. And I actually found this on, I actually found this recipe on Pinterest years ago. And I went to look it up yesterday and I could not find it. So I'm really glad I found it here. But I had mentioned soaking our brown rice in whey on my Azure Standard video. And several of you asked, hey, can you do a video on that? So here we are. Our kitchen has been very busy today. You see things all around me. I just finished making some farmer's cheese. And so I have all of this fresh whey that is right here next to me. I'm going to be using that. You can substitute, Sally has mentioned, you can substitute lemon juice or vinegar in place of the whey. You could also use buttermilk or kefir. According to her recipe, like I said, I'm adapting it a little bit. So I think you'd be better off using the whey, the lemon juice, or the vinegar versus doing this with kefir or buttermilk because of the method we're going to use. So you're going to start with a quart-size mason jar or a quart-size glass jar of any kind filled with good filtered water. So this water is from our Berkey. We've got the fluoride filters on there. So this is really good filtered water. And then you're going to add 4 tablespoons of whey to this liquid. Like I said, I just finished making cheese. And so this is all of the whey from that. Move this way a little bit. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you do not have access to raw milk in your area and you're not making cheese or anything like that, you can actually do this with a yogurt. If you have a yogurt, that kind of separates out after a little bit, the whey rises to the top. You can find whey in a lot of different ways. Pun not intended, please forgive me. All right, so we've got our mixture here and I want to stir this together. I'm going to stir my whey into my water. Now this is going to start off, I wish I could show you guys this down the road. I'll have to do an update video for you in a few months because this is going to start off looking very white, almost like a very watered down milk. Can you see that? Like this. The more you use it, the more this is going to culture. It will begin to smell like a really, really good cheese, and the color will actually change as well. So let's see. What we're gonna do with this liquid now is I'm gonna keep this jar. I always keep at least one. The way I was doing it before, I kind of had 2 different mason jars that I rotated just because I didn't want to clean it right away. But we're storing a lot more stuff in mason jars now. So I'm going to be just using this one that's reserved for this. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you soaking the rice. So literally this is all you have to do for your soaking liquid. Super simple, 4 tablespoons of whey or lemon juice or vinegar if you're staying clear of whey, and a quart of water, okay? Then when it comes time to make your rice, what you're going to do is measure out however much rice you want. I don't know why I have this big giant bowl, but we do. We're using the big bowl, okay? And try and move this somewhere. Our kitchen, friends, we live in a little apartment. So I want to encourage you that you can homestead anywhere that you are at. I have sprouted wheat berries that are dehydrating in our oven right now because we don't have room for a dehydrator. And so they have the oven light on and it's propped open just a little bit. Here I have some beans cooking for Taco Tuesday on the stove. I've got all the whey here, our chicken that's cooking for dinner in the crock pot. Okay, so try and find a spot here. We just do about a cup of rice at a time. There's only 2 of us right now. So unless I am making more for dinner or we're going to be doing a lot of rice that week, in which case I would up it. This liquid will work for up to 2 cups of dry rice. You'll want to probably go more than that and do bigger if you have a larger family and you're typically making a lot of rice at one time. But all I did was pour my water in here and my rice. And now I'm gonna let this soak. I'm just gonna cover this with the towel so it's in a dark, warm place. And keep that there, ideally for at least 7 hours. And what's gonna happen during that time is it's going to start breaking down that germ so that it's more digestible. Okay, so it's really going to help get rid of some of those anti-nutrients, also release a lot of enzymes in the rice. It's going to make it so much easier to digest and it's going to cook up really nice as well. Because I started this video, I got a late start to my cheese making and I started this video, it is now 3:50. I'm making rice for dinner tonight. This isn't going to get to soak the full amount of time, but even if you can't do it this full 7 hours, I've done this before in the past when I forgot to start soaking it in the morning before I left the house and I was out running errands or teaching dance or something all day. And then I came back and I was like, oh shoot, I need to soak rice for dinner. It's 3:45, 4 o'clock. I took it for a couple hours. It was not the same results by any means, but it's better than nothing. So I'm gonna soak this for a couple hours and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to strain your liquid in order to keep it in the fridge and it'll start smelling like that good cheese. All right, friends, we are back. It is about 3 hours after we started soaking this rice. Now remember, you would normally be doing this for 7 hours or more. So you could soak this overnight if you wanted to the night before and just let it keep going, or just start it first thing in the morning and it'll be ready by the time it's dinner. So I have my soaked brown rice here and I'm gonna show you the process that I use to save my liquid every time and just to keep it simple. It is a method that I created on my own. You do what works for you, but this is what works well for me. So I like to take a funnel and put it in my mason jar. And then I have these strainers and this one fits perfectly in the top of the funnel. Now, whoops, I totally just rigged this. However it works. So I find something to lay the handle on. Totally sophisticated. You make it work in your kitchen. And then you take your liquid and just dump it. You're gonna strain the rice right in through here. And you will notice, each time you do this that you actually lose a little bit of the liquid because some of it is absorbed into the rice and or evaporates. And so I just usually fill it, and when it goes for 7 hours, I feel like you lose more of it than what's here. Whoops. Okay, so I have my rice, drain it real well, get as much of that liquid back in there because it's got the whey in it, and it will begin to ferment. Now I should have just put that straight into the pot, but eliminate a step. Don't do what I did. Okay. I'm gonna fill this, with just a little bit more Berkey water. There we go. So it's full up to the top. I take my storage lid, screw that right on, and then this goes in the refrigerator. I am going to label this, and since it's all white, let's see. We'll go ahead and do that. I am gonna label this, and I will use these paint markers. I got these off Amazon. I am not a huge Amazon purchaser anymore, but I did order these because they're water-based paint markers, so I love to use them to label my jars. Sharpies work well too, and I probably should use a Sharpie since this is white, but the color's gonna fade over time, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and write on here, rice soaking liquid. And what I love about these paint pens is they don't rub off real easily. And so that will go right into our fridge so I remember what it is. And honestly, it will just ferment and get better and better and better. The more you use it, the more it will smell like cheese, the better your texture of your rice will get as well. And then you just make your rice like you normally would. And so the cooking time may be reduced just a little bit. You'll want to keep your eye on that, especially after soaking it for 7 hours. It will likely take less time to cook. However, you're still going to use the same amount of liquid in there. I love to use chicken broth. So this is some of my homemade chicken broth. You can see it's real jelly in there, lots of gelatin. We use chicken feet in the chicken broth, so it's nice and full of that good nourishing gelatin for your gut. And then that also adds some good flavor to the rice as well. But easy peasy. It's literally just like once you have your liquid made, you just dump it in, soak it, recycle recycle the liquid back into your fridge, and then make your rice as normal. So it's really not adding much extra time, maybe 2 minutes total if you include like washing the dishes, that it adds to your rice cooking. So hopefully that blesses you guys. And if you have any questions about the process, pop it in the comments below. Thank you so much for your input, friends, on what content you are wanting and looking for. I always appreciate your feedback. It helps me know what kind of videos to create that you will like. So until next time, take care, friends. Cheers.